Hello and welcome to the GAMRs podcast. We want to wish everyone a happy new year before we get started. I'm your host, Justin, and I have with me Lawrence.
Hey everybody, hope you had a great new year.
And I've got Ryden with me as well.
Hey guys.
Michelle isn't feeling too well. We want to send her our best. Hope she's feeling better. Hopefully she can be with us next time we record.
Get well soon, Michelle.
We miss
well
you. No, I really do miss Michelle today because I wanted to talk about the stupidity that just happened in Naruto. And I feel like she's the only one who would appreciate my outrage right now.
Wait, which stupidity? What's going on with the manga right now?
Yes. Oh dear God, yes. I don't know. Do you read the scans as they come out, or?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Just briefly, the guy they just killed, I'm just like, you've killed him already, though. Like, you did the exact same scene. Verbatim. The only thing you added was one extra person in his death scene, but you did the exact same death. Twice.
I don't know. I look at it as, okay, they did that death sequence for the character. But considering what was being discussed not too long ago before that death sequence happened, between the two people responsible, I'm expecting a betrayal and that technique being used.
Well,
if you know what I'm talking about without spoilers.
See, I kind of know what you're talking about, but that moment just kind of ruined it for me, because I'm like, you've killed him already. Like, it's almost as if he was listening to everyone saying, you're afraid to kill characters. Haha, I'll show you.
You're afraid to kill characters. All right, so we'll blow this place up and we're going to kill this person.
Oh, no. Oh. Ooh. I think we're talking about two different deaths here. Okay, spoilers time.
We're going to have to do a spoiler.
But yeah, spoiler alert. If you aren't current with the manga, you may want to skip ahead like 5-10 minutes. No, I wasn't talking about Shikamaru's dad. They killed Neji.
Again. No, I know that was the one you were talking about.
Okay.
But my point was like Kishimoto heard, oh, you think I'm too scared to kill people in a war? Okay, Madara, you blow up their base. Obito, you kill Neji. Who is your god now? That was it. It was just a flexing of, okay, I kill him, and I kill that whole base.
Now what?
And it's like, oh, don't worry. They were talking about Rene Tensei, resurrection jutsu not too long ago, but ignore that.
Yeah.
That's why I said I'm expecting a betrayal and then that jutsu being used. Because it's like, oh, how convenient. We'll talk about a resurrection technique just before we kill somebody.
And that will make twice that Neji has come back from the dead.
I don't think Neji technically ever even died in part 1.
No, he died in part. They did the whole thing with the seal fading and everything. They if you go back and look, after the spider dude killed him, I'm sitting there like, hold on, didn't they do this already? So I went back and had the seal fade and everything.
I don't think they so much killed Neji in part 1, but he was at the brink. Like, kind of like how you could say Kakashi was at the brink of death. Or, in the case of Kakashi, he might have actually been dead.
But see, he was in whatever afterlife his dad was in.
Yeah, so he was probably already dead. But in the case of Neji, I think he was at the brink of death, and they just healed him. Like, if they had found him any later, he'd just been dead. He'd been long gone.
Okay.
But yeah, but yeah, I'm just expecting a full-on resurrection jutsu, and that'll be the end of it.
Yep. But other things that came across our desk today, before we get into the whole year in review and what we're looking forward to next year, Sony, they are truly the gift that keeps on giving. What was it? Yeah. When it was first rumored for their next generation console to come out, when they're first discussing it, there was a rumor that, there's going to be a way to block used games. And Jack Trent was like, I would never do that. Well, today, because you can't hide anything from the internet, a patent was filed, and the abstract of the patent says, I'm just going to read the abstract verbatim. Ryden actually found this and put it up on his personal Facebook page. So here's the abstract of the patent. A game playing system includes a use permission tag provided for use in game disk for user of a game disk drive and a reproduction device for reproducing the game. The disk drive reads out a disk ID from the game disk. When the game is to be played, the reproduction device conveys the disk ID and the player ID to the use permission tag. The use permission tag stores the terms of use of the game and determines whether the combination of disk ID and player ID conveyed from the reproduction device fulfills the terms of use or not.
Hey Justin, I just got this really cool party game. Do you want me to? I'll pop round yours and bring my game disc. Oh shit, no I can't.
You know what? You may as well just bring your PS3 because that's the only way we're gonna play it. In layman's terms, Sony filed a patent for a way to lock a single game disc to a single game console. Which means, if you've been paying attention, kiddos, used games, if they apply this patent to their next game system, you cannot buy used games for the next generation Sony console. Because that disc and that ID will be tied to another user and another device.
Right. And here's another piece of dialogue straight from the patent paper. I'm just going to read it through real quick. By employing the game playing system 1000 according to the present embodiment, the use permission tag 220 together with the game disk 210 is supplied to the user, and the use permission tag 220 actively determines the use permit / rejection of the electronic content. Thereby, the use of game IP stored in game disk 210 can be restricted as appropriate according to the attribute of the reproduction device. Consider, for example, a case where used as a game package 200 distributed in the second-hand market. Then the ID of reproduction device for the game disk 210 differs from the legitimate device ID stored in the use permission tag 220, so that the game disk can be reproduced in a mode which is predetermined for those bought and sold in the second-hand market. Also, for example, a content key may be supplied to the reproduction device 130, and the encrypted game AP may be decrypted using the content key only if the reproduction device ID matches a legitimate use device ID. Hence, use of game IPs bought and sold in the second-hand market can be eliminated. This is straight from the patent paper. This is direct quote from their patent.
Yeah.
So,
but there are games that kind of work like that already. Now, I'm sure I discussed this on the podcast before. My Half-Life 2, I bought it ages ago. You had to have Steam to play the game, even offline. So you had to have Steam to play the game. Now, I don't know what Steam account I have that tied to. So yeah. I can't play my game anymore. It won't let me play my game.
Right, but I believe PC games in that extent have had DRMs for a while.
Yes,
in that regard.
You used to buy. Well, I mean, pretty much all the PC games they come with a code. So yeah, some you couldn't get away with using more than once, which is why you barely saw second-hand PC games over the console ones. So it's probably not anything that new, but when it comes to console games, I mean, it's nice to have the option to have a second-hand game, or when you're done with the game, what do you do with it?
Right. Some people just sell it. I'm one of the rare people who keeps all my games, so.
But yeah, but since going forward, you won't be able to do that.
Right, exactly. And the worst part is the thing that you were referencing with Justin just a few seconds ago. Now that eliminates, you could say, friendly couch co-op.
Yeah.
I tell you what, one of my favorite pastimes back on the PlayStation was going around my mate's house with my copy of the PlayStation Quake 2, taking over my multi-tap and having a 4-player deathmatch on, sitting around my mate's house on their console. Unless, of course, the consoles are going to be nice and portable. That's not going to happen.
I don't think so. So if they make it nice, and portable 10 years down the line, but never at launch with Sony. It's never portable at launch. I mean, they start making it, like, okay, it's this big. It's like big as a box, and then later, it's like paper thin. But so, yeah, that's my main concern in regards to this patent. It's not so much the used game sales, because I only bought one game used ever, and it was a PS2 game, and it was sealed like new. So that's pretty much like the only game I've ever bought used, and it was Capcom vs SNK 2 10 years later. But that being said, my main concern is the elimination of the possibility of a couch co-op environment. Because now, if it ties the game to the console, you can't take that game to someone else's house to just play a friendly game with them every now and then if you hang out with a friend or something.
Well, it says, I mean, although it does say about the attaching it to, like, the console registers it, it does actually state that it's putting it to the user ID. So unless, of course, you can easily sign in with your ID at someone's house, I would hope that you'd be allowed to play it that way. But it's Sony, who knows? You may be able you can only register your ID with 2 consoles or something stupid.
Right. I'm about to say, if we go with how Sony treats their digital download games, they're tied to that account. That account can only be activated on two console devices and 5 portable devices?
Something like that.
Something like that.
So it's what's really frustrating about this is it's like Sony learned nothing about when they tried to do this. I don't want to say they tried to do this exactly, but they tried to restrict the discs when people bought music. We went through something similar with this, and it's like, okay, if you're going to do that, I'm just going to download more.
Yeah, it becomes just an outright, you could say, revolt against the idea.
Yeah. Well, people are going to find their ways as hard as they can then to break into the console code and eliminate that factor.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what's going to happen. If you give people an incentive to hack your machine, they will hack your machine.
Yeah.
And trying to control your consumers to you will do this, you cannot do this.
What happened the last time Sony were dealing with trying to control the consumers?
PlayStation Network went down for a month.
Yeah, basically.
There we go.
And then there's 2 things. One, you're now encouraging people to try to break the Blu-ray.
Yes.
The Blu-ray disc was, or still is, a very safe format in regards to hacking, in regards to tampering, and things of that nature. Now, if you're tying something that's on the game disc to your console, then you're encouraging people to not only break into the console, you're encouraging them to go, okay, we'll break into the Blu-ray, disable this online or this registry code, and then now we can sell it back.
But I mean, they're already kind of restricting things with. If you notice more and more now, that it's becoming a popular thing to region restrict games.
Yeah,
and
even
Blu-rays.
Demos, because Metal Gear Rising's Japanese demo came out in December, and it was region locked to everyone's shock.
And was it Persona 4 Arena? That's
Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
That was region locked, but I have to dig up the reason. Atlas had a very specific reason for region locking.
They said it was because the higher-ups were scared of reverse importation, that they didn't want people from Japan importing from the United States. So they wanted the Japanese market to thrive. And because of that, the Japanese, I think, promotional higher-ups wanted Atlas to input a region lock system in Persona 4 Arena. So it wasn't Atlas's fault. It was actual. I don't know if it was government, or if it was just marketing, but something of that to that effect that asked them to do the region lock.
Actually, let me bring up the sales on that, because I actually think that didn't affect them negatively, but only because they were upfront with it from jump. They said, "Hey, look, it's going to be region locked. This is why. if we couldn't do it this way, we would. It has to be done this way.
It wasn't something that was discovered.
Right.
Yeah, like the Metal Gear Rising demo, because that was not announced to be region locked. And when people downloaded it from their Japanese PSN accounts the day of, they got a nasty surprise because then it said you cannot play this on your console. And then Konami had to address that, yes, it was region locked about a day or so after people already discovered this. And that we would be getting the demo, I think, January 8th or 15th in every other region. So, there's also another thing I want to clarify in regards to the whole Sony patent with the user ID tying it to the game ID. One thing that I realize that Sony likes to do is that they separate PSN account from user ID. Like, your user information is, what you tie to your PS3.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the name that you assign, and it's your actual username and data on the PS3. The PSN account is something different. So if they're tying this to your user ID, I think that might be console specific.
That's a good point. So
That's the thing that got me thinking.
So they're going backwards then. They're going backwards in their DRM solutions.
Yes and no. They're evading the online thing outright because you can easily port over your online account to someone else's PlayStation. And I think you can have your account on more than several PlayStations. It's just the things that you download are restricted. But so you can easily put your PSN account from one PS3 to another and have it, set. What they're doing is they're tying it to the user ID that is in your PS3 from the get-go.
No,
I started this PS3
to
the MAC address, as it were.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's
now, questions that raised for me is, first off, a new console, will there be backwards compatibility? What am I doing with all these other PS3 games that I've got? And if so, will they have any kind of restriction? I'm sure they haven't got codes on the discs or anything. Well, they might have. They might have that we don't know about. But as far as I'm aware, no. But
I would say not to give Sony any more ideas, but each disc has something on it to identify itself as, this is what I am.
Well, yeah, and the fact that it's identified as being bought in the PAL region, or being bought, well, even buying something from Germany to here in the UK, is you get different menus pop up because it's all written in the disc.
Take it a step further than that. There is something there is an identifying feature on the disc that says, I am X copy of this. You may not be able to get where it was sold or bought from, but it identifies itself as a unique, it has a unique identifier. So if they wanted, they could probably have this affect older systems too, if they really wanted to get creative with it.
Have something that latches itself to the older games, so to speak.
Bingo.
Like a patch.
Don't get them any ideas.
Yeah. I mean, and not only that, but if we even have backwards compatibility for the next gen, because if there is no backwards compatibility, to me that's a deal breaker for the next PlayStation. I mean, the used game thing is a nuisance, but like I said, I don't purchase used games, so it's not so much of a deal breaker for me. But the no backwards compatibility thing would be a deal breaker in regards to the next Sony console. So you have to worry about if they even have backwards compatibility, and then okay, we have it. Now what are they doing with it? Are they going to also restrict older games, or there's so many different little nuances about what they're doing with the next gen consoles that has me worried about the next gen.
Yeah.
Like I'm content with my PS3. I'll say that now. The current gen power is going strong. I mean, look at Halo 4.
That is a true statement. Halo 4 did surprisingly well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks amazing for what it is.
343 did a very good job with that. I mean, I can only say that from playing what I've tried. I've not got the game, but from what I've tried, it's it looks good. What I've seen from footage, it plays nice, smooth. It's got brilliant sound.
Yeah.
excellent graphics for the current gen consoles.
Yeah, I don't even have a 360, and the footage I've seen of Halo 4 was it puts some PS3 games to shame. Like, and PS3 is supposed to be this powerhouse of a console.
Yeah.
Halo 4 on the 360 puts some of the PS3 games to shame in terms of graphics and power.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That next gen power.
We'll see. We'll see. Like we said before, Sony does have a history of shooting itself in the foot when it comes to not just Sony entertainment, not just gaming, but music, everything else. They have a history of doing this, so maybe they'll learn from their mistakes.
Well, it seems Microsoft did something nice with regards to they put out. I'm not sure. I don't think it's actually new, like brand new news, but they're talking about it today with regards to the ability to actually import your or change your ID region.
Yes, I was reading that.
Yeah, so you go from being. I think Jim Sterling said about the fact that he is kind of still stuck on being in the UK. And one of his IDs is still kind of stuck at being in the UK because you couldn't change it. So if, you move to the US from the UK, you can't change what region your gamer tag is registered to. But they're supposed to be implementing a way to do that.
Yeah, I think the original Xbox had something similar with DVDs, because I remember there being an option for you to change the region of the console for it to read a specific DVD type.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm remembering it wrong, but I think the original Xbox had something similar to that. So, and that was just for DVDs and movies. I don't know if they're trying to do something similar or they tried in the past for games and they couldn't. But that would be a step up, you could say, to try to switch it to be able to switch it to different regions. Kind of like the PS2's old Magic Swap, except without all of the tinkering, so to speak.
Okay.
And then to go along with the used game blocking patent that Sony put out, they also have that patent about advertising in video games, like putting commercials in your video games.
Don't remind me. I forgot all about that.
Well, that's Sony. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Let's move on to something that's a lot nicer.
They've always been ways developers have put commercials in the games, like for Grand Theft Auto. I believe it was Grand Theft Auto 4. They had some billboards of actual products pop up in the game.
Well, racing games are probably the most notorious. Racing games and sports games are probably the most notorious for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's just putting it like as a side thing. Like NFL, Madden NFL 13 has Papa John's sponsorship and car sponsorship here, and Linkin Park performing Castle of Glass promotion here. Sony's patent is actually putting commercials.
Yeah, like as your game is loading. Hi,
yeah.
I'm
from the Life Alert. Do you fall down?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like watching. It's kind of like watching something.
Get up?
Like if you go to watch something on Netflix or something, you'll have an advert pop up before your thing starts.
Yeah.
Right. That sort of thing.
Sounds fun.
On that note, Sony's really, really making it hard to root for them in the coming year. They really are.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man.
But PSN's free.
For now, I'm pretty sure that.
For now.
And they do run a very good subscription service.
See, that's the thing. When they put PlayStation Plus, I was like, I don't need it. Then I was like, you know what? I'll just give it a try, just because someone had got me a 3-month subscription. I was like, okay, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, and I bet you were hooked.
See, I wouldn't say hooked. I can live without it, but I Oh no, I can't live without it because I got Walking Dead for free through it. So I guess I have to keep it.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if
because
you
as soon
buy,
as soon as you stop with the with your subscription, you can't play the game.
Right.
yeah. I think that only affects the free games though. Like if you
Yeah.
bought something discounted, or if
That's
you have
fine.
DLC add-ons, you can lose the subscription and those would still work.
Yeah.
So like if you stop subscribing, you could just buy the first part of Walking Dead, and episode 2 will work for you because it's an add-on.
Didn't you get the complete thing for free?
No.
Or was it just one episode?
They had a Halloween promotion where they gave you episodes 1 and 2.
Right.
So, but while we're on Walking Dead, I guess one of the, I guess I shouldn't say I guess, one of the pleasant surprises of this past year was just how well received Telltale's The Walking Dead has been. It's won numerous Game of the Year awards, beating out titles like Call of Duty, Mass Effect 3, Borderlands 2. But before we get into The Walking Dead, though, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 had a really bad year.
Yeah.
Oh man.
In terms of just critically, it got beat
still
out.
done well. It's still done well in sales, but
Oh yeah, it's like, man, people are gonna buy Call of Duty. That's a given. So they'll always be successful in that regard. But I guess they've hit the ceiling where everyone's like, okay, what next? And it lost to Borderlands for best multiplayer. That, while I agree with it, it shocked me that it actually for the Spike Video Game Awards, I was surprised Spike actually gave it to Borderlands instead of Call of Duty. That shocked me.
kind of. But in some ways, maybe not. I mean, they put a heck of a lot of promotion into Borderlands.
They did. No. It is easily the better multiplayer experience.
And seeing as Spike's a very marketing orientated thing, that's probably what's won it for him.
Oh, well, there you go. But The Walking Dead by Telltale did really well. I recently got into the show, and during seasons 1 and 2, especially season 2, I found myself looking at Rick like, dude, you're too soft. You got to make the hard choices, man. And this game lets you make those hard choices. And it's not as easy as you think it is, just sitting on your couch like, oh yeah, I'd do that. Nah, son.
Oh, do you know what? You say that. Do you know what I would love? A Walking Dead game book.
Ooh.
Where you make, with all your little choices and your few dice rolls and whatever else. That would be awesome.
That would be pretty good.
But go on.
So if you've read the review I have up on our Tumblr, there's one situation, without spoiling too much of it, because Lawrence hasn't played it yet, which he needs to do. Peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure.
No, puts shield up.
Curses, the peer pressure shield. No, there's one situation where you're in town, you're trying to raid this place for supplies, and this woman is being chased by a bunch of walkers, and then she gets bitten. So it's like, dang, there's no way she's gonna get away. And you're within, you can see her. I guess you're about a good 50, 75 feet away, and it's like, all right, here's your choice. You can either just let her get eaten, use her as live bait while you go rob this store, or not, I shouldn't say rob, but you go get supplies from this store.
Borrow stuff.
Yeah. Or, put her out of her misery, because no one deserves to be eaten alive. But of course, if you do that, the walkers hear you, and you're probably not going to get your supplies. That's the kind of thing that The Walking Dead, that Telltale puts you in. That's the kind of situation they put you in. There is no right answer. There is no third option. There is no, well, I got my karma meter built up to this point, so maybe there's a way I can make both sides happy. No. This is real. And as much as I love the Mass Effect series, I will say one way this trumps Mass Effect is how they deal with the choices. Mass Effect, the way BioWare deals with choices is they want to give you every option available. Like anything you could possibly think of to resolve a situation, they want to give you that. The Walking Dead has a more realistic approach where it's like, no, it's either this or this. Because in this specific situation, that's all you got.
And it doesn't give you time.
Oh no,
you have to make a decision right there and then. You see these options pop up, and you're like,
The options pop up. You'll see a bar at the bottom. That threw me off the first time. You see a bar at the bottom. You start whittling. I'm like, oh snap! I'm being timed. Oh snap! I got to decide.
I tell you, there's been a few times where I've got to pick. I've picked something, and I'm like, no, I didn't want to pick that.
It's real out here. So I can see how that won Game of the Year. It's easily some of the best storytelling. I don't want to say just in a game. It's easily some of the best storytelling to come out in the past year. The gameplay is really reminiscent of Monkey Island and those click and play kind of games. Myst. You're not really playing a game so much as you are participating in an interactive comic, and I'm completely cool with that. Whichever way you can best tell the story, I'm kosher with.
And the story was very mature.
Yes. Oh, yes. Very, very mature. Very, these are real life situations you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So
some quite emotional, scenes and choices that you've got to make and things like that. It's kind of makes it a little bit more, a little tougher when you get thrown these options, or when something happens and you're going to have to choose something along the lines, and somewhere a little further on, and makes it a little bit harder, but it completely customizes your story as well.
Right. People react to your choices the way people would react. There's not necessarily a consistency with it, because that's how people just because you do the right thing, let's say you do the right thing twice, or the quote unquote good thing twice. That same person may respect the first time you did it, but disagree with it the second time. Because that's how people act. It's like, you really can't play this trying to be like, well, what will make this person happy? Because you'll fail. No set string of choices will make everyone happy all the time. And if you play the game like that, while that is one way to play it, you could just try to be a kiss up, but it kind of, I don't want to say cheapens it, but it will reflect that in your game. As everyone else will start to notice, hey, you're only doing this because this guy agrees with it.
You can't, but you kind of have your. I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, I kind of had my favorite characters that I kind of sucked up to a bit more than I did others.
I had there was one person in your initial group that I actually liked.
Yeah, I bet I know who it is too.
Oh man. So again,
didn't that suck?
You have no idea.
But I wasn't expecting it.
I
saw a build to it, but I wasn't expecting it.
I was expecting a conflict. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
But no, again, the people are real. They react in a real way. It is a very engrossing experience. One of the things I actually really liked about it, even though I didn't make use of this option enough, if you want to just shut up, you can shut up and just not comment on anything. Just be kind of like to yourself, like, hey man, I'm just here. And everyone else around you will notice that, hey, you don't talk much. What's your story? So
what were your favorite sections, without going into detail?
Without going into detail, the first episode, I would say, is the best, only because it does such a great job of setting the stage, engrossing you in the story, letting you know, look, these are the stakes, this is what's going on, and this is what you have to do. It's without that first episode, everything else just kind of falls short.
Do you know, for me, the first episode was the weakest. I didn't feel as engrossed in the game until I got to the second part.
Oh,
yeah. However, I guess from having such a horror movie background, I I kind of predicted everything that was going to happen there, but it did it well.
See, in the second part, I guessed what was gonna happen. I was like, nah, I've seen Deliverance. Don't trust backwards Hicks. I've seen like they. In the second part, you're, without spoiling too much, you're approached by these two guys that say they own a farm, and I'm like, nope. The only thing this scene is missing is a dude with a banjo. I'm out. Do do do
No.
do 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 do.
But you're kind of left with you're left with options
Right.
before that as to whether or not you go to the farm. So I don't know what happens if you don't go.
See, okay. Because it's such a huge plot point, they do give you the option of trying to skip it, and you can try it. See what happens if you try it. See what happens if you try it. But no, it is awesome. I cannot wait for Lawrence to try it. But there is something else I want Lawrence to try. That's the good Walking Dead. If you pay attention on our Facebook page, you would have noticed that we posted a video from Activision's version of The Walking Dead, which is centered in the television universe, and it follows Dale and I forgot his brother's name already.
Now it's just to set the scene here. The Walking Dead Telltale game is based on the comic books.
Yes.
Whereas this is based on the TV series, which is kind of on a different scale. But
right. Well, I will say the scale is different because in the comic they're more quick to kill off characters. In the TV show, he's already stated, the writers have stated they don't like killing off characters because they like the cast so much.
I think the cast like the money a lot as well.
Well, there's that. When you kill a character, you're essentially firing someone, so that kind of gets in the way of storytelling. But
what the hell happens with Sean Bean all the time? It's what happens with Sean Bean all the time.
He's the walking spoiler. He's in a movie, you know he's dying.
If Sean Bean was in the Walking Dead movie, you know he'd be dead in the first episode, right? Or at least in the first season.
They would keep him alive just to F with you.
It would be like, oh, you thought he was dying? No, he's staying.
That's
the spoiler.
He might make another cameo as a zombie.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's how they keep him on.
There you go. But Activision is coming up with a version of The Walking Dead that is based in the television universe. And one of the complaints about Telltale's Walking Dead was there wasn't enough action. I think that complaint kind of misses the point of The Walking Dead in general, but whatever. If that's how you feel, Activision has something for you. This is footage that, where did we say this footage came from?
It was, I can't remember who posted it up initially. I saw it on Twitter, and then there was a video that was on the show there, and I just posted up on our Facebook page from there. I can't remember who it was that I posted up. I think it was a retweet actually of the guys where the video actually came from initially.
Okay. But and Lawrence hasn't seen it yet. If you look at our Facebook page, you could see me and Ryan essentially saying, "Wow, this looks bad." Lawrence hasn't seen how bad it is yet, so I want a fresh reaction of just how horrible this looks, and then we can all talk about it as a group. But Lawrence, when you're ready, just let me know when you started.
Okay, I'm gonna start it right now. Okay. Okay, there's already no sound effects for this, so this has me worried a little. Unless it's like that early on the build for it. The textures don't look right.
What textures?
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing. That everything's flat. Whoa, screen tearing. Why do they make it an FPS, by the way?
Because they're Activision.
Whoa,
needs-
plastic hair.
Everything needs an FPS, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Why was the hair like one shiny plastic block, by the way?
It's the Walking Dead Lego.
Oh man. I think we stepped back like 7 years in this generation where everything had that plastically look at the start of this current gen of gaming. I think we stepped back that far. Why does the zombie running animation look awkward? uh, okay, so there's no textures and there's no AI either on that one.
You noticed that?
Yeah, like he just ran straight into the zombies, and they did nothing. They're like,
If you know
okay,
anything
you
about
chop
the Walking, about to say, if anyone knows anything about The Walking Dead, when you approach a walker, it smells you. When it smells you, it's game time.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh wow. Everything looks like plastic with the animations for the characters, and now it just finished.
No, I'm left the question: did these guys ever see or play Left 4 Dead, or Dead Island,
Or Daisy.
or DayZ? I mean, these games look good. They play smoothly. They have AI. Okay, Left 4 Dead's not always the brilliant AI, but it's got the first game. The second one was a lot better. Yeah, what was with that?
You know what? If it is an alpha, I can forgive the textures, the lack of AI, the blocky movement. If it is an alpha build, I can forgive all of that. What I can't forgive, and what makes this really a bad game, that I can tell just by looking at it from this, it looks like they tried to take, like you said, Left 4 Dead, Dead Island, and DayZ, mush it all together in an FPS, put The Walking Dead on it, and say, boom, we made a game.
But at the same time, to kind of disclaim, apparently that was not an officially released video.
So this was kind of like an alpha leak, so to speak.
It was
Like
apparently
footage from like the alpha build or something.
it was apparently put up on there was something on an IGN channel, like Game Night or something or other.
Okay.
And someone had seemed to have gained footage from it, and it's not represented as it should be or whatever.
I don't know.
My impression is it just doesn't look good at all.
It really, yeah, it really doesn't. I mean, Activision is kind of known for their cash-in games, and this looks like one of them.
Yeah.
Because Activision does have a history of publishing, a movie came out, let's publish this game based off that movie, like with the Avengers games and stuff like that. This just looks like another cash-in title, now that The Walking Dead's like the big thing on television right now.
Oh, and even in gaming. But
Yeah,
if you're going to
with
make a choice, I would definitely be picking the Telltale one.
Yeah, I don't think we need another Activision FPS, so to speak, right now.
But you know what you were saying a minute ago with Justin, with regards to the fact that people were saying that the Walking Dead needed more action. These guys obviously don't know Telltale games either.
Yeah. I'd say Telltale tells stories.
Yeah.
That Telltale. Telltale. It's in the company name.
Yeah.
But yeah, they want action,
all.
but that's not. They want action, but that's not the action that you want.
Yeah, they want action. No, wrong action. Too much action.
No. You know what? That game is probably going to do well for the same reasons that Dead Island did well. Because it looks like they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to bash a zombie in the head with an axe. It's going to be just like The Walking Dead. And that lets me know that you really don't know The Walking Dead because they try to avoid walkers at all costs. And then they're going to buy the game, and then they're going to be like, well, why do these zombies keep killing me? I thought I was trying to kill zombies. if you want to just kill zombies, get Black Ops and do zombie apocalypse mode. If you want to
When-
do like survival, you know,
Well, when it came to Dead Island, I knew what Dead Island was intended to be. Even
Right.
because I think a lot of people were kind of had raised the bar a bit too much with their speculation because of that video that came out that looked absolutely awesome. With the little girl going out of the window and whatever. But I guess none of those guys actually saw any of the alpha footage or the test footage for the zombies and the action that was in the game, which was going way back to 2007, I think it was, when just before the idea of the project was going to be canned. Because that's how the game turned out, and that's because I'd been following the game since I saw that initial footage, and I thought this looks awesome. They kind of showed the fact that there was dismember, the fact that you can dismember jaws and anything like that. They had so many different parts on the structures of the zombies that could be attacked and taken off. Now I'd seen all of that before that other video, so I kind of knew what I was expecting before it got released. So it lived up to expectations for me, but for other people it didn't.
Alright. I did not play Dead Island, but from what I saw, it looked like a mix of Fallout and actually, no, it actually just looked like Fallout with zombies. But it also looked like as my roommate was playing it, it didn't look like it tried to hide what it was. It's like, look, this is a role playing game. This is survival. This is if you find a gun, great. You may not want to use it though. You want to be careful with your ammunition.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it was a thinking person's first person shooter, but it's kind of what it was almost like chess for first person shooters. You gotta be smart with it.
Yeah, you can kind of say it was the thinking person's FPS because it really managed to capture the survival aspect because of the things you had to combine. You had to think, okay, this mixed with this will make this, or I could use this item to make this instead later on if I get this item with it.
And
So you
also
had to
how
think more about
and also how you had to kind of build your skill trees as well.
right. So it was kind of like you could say a Fallout mixed with a zombie apocalypse mixed with Left 4 Dead, and kind of had some elements of Borderlands in with it as well in that regard.
I tell you an excellent zombie game, Borderlands, the DLC.
Yes.
The DLC for Borderlands 1, the Dr. Zed's Island thing.
Yeah.
That was a good zombie slaughter fest.
Especially at the end, the boss is like, "Holy effing bleep!" Like, no, they don't look at boss's little subtitle. This boss's subtitle was "Holy effing s," and I was like, you know what? Let's go.
I can't remember his name. The guy that's in the chair and he's after brains. And you have to keep picking up. You have to keep shooting the zombies in the head to pick up their brains and stuff. And the giant pumpkin head boss guy.
Yes. Honestly,
He seems
I don't
to
think
take
there was
forever to kill.
anything wrong with that Borderlands DLC.
No, and it was such a decent size.
Yeah. I don't know if people are complaining about the DLC size for Borderlands 2. I think the only complaint I've heard from Borderlands 2 DLC is that the new one, Mr. Torque, the raid boss is kind of easy. And I was like, okay, considering the other 3 raid bosses are harder than hell.
And the patch made them even worse.
Oh
the
my.
raid bosses.
The
patch made it, I think.
No, you're right. The patch made it even harder. The raid bosses, they warn you. If you're not level 50 with all legendary gear, with 4 people, you will die.
Yeah, and before I was kind of like, well, you can beat it with one person.
Yeah.
but it'll be a rough fight ahead of you. If you have 4, it'll be easier. Now it's like you need 4 people.
Well, Borderlands 1, I never played once multiplayer. I played it through,
I can see that.
I think I played the story through twice with one character. And and all the DLC, and I only ever played it single player. Apart from the one DLC I didn't like was that Mad Moxie arena thing.
Yeah, and I think Torg was kind of meant to be like the improvement over Mad Moxie's DLC from the first one, like kind of the successor to it, because it's also a competition, dome type thing, battle dome type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see that. I think that's the thing that kind of bugs people more about Borderlands 2. Like you just said, you only played Borderlands 1 single player. People play Borderlands sometimes as a single player game, so making the raid bosses that absurdly difficult now with the recent patch, it is kind of like, okay, so I need to have multiple people to take out the raid bosses.
Yeah. And some people like myself, you only want to play with friends. So
right, and
if your friends aren't
what if
playing
your friends don't have them?
Yeah.
So that really hurts Borderlands 2. You could say in kind of the long run of things with that recent patch.
Right.
Because it makes certain things. Yeah, because it makes certain things. Why bother? Why bother going after the raid bosses if it's not recommended for you to go after them as one person anymore? Now you need to bring a team to them. And in a game like Borderlands, I wouldn't trust randoms.
Oh no.
No. So, yeah.
But I don't know. Borderlands 2, I'm enjoying it. I will say though, going back to the randoms, you always get that one guy that thinks they're way, I don't want to say better, but thinks that they can handle more than they chew off. You always get the Leroy Jenkins. It's so satisfying. You see them, rush off like, okay, I got this. Lay down.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I've seen that before, and I've had that happen on my team quite a few times. If I played, like, let's say Call of Duty, like if there's a room full of 3 people, they'd be like, "Man, I got this," and then they run in, and I'm like, "You moron."
I don't know. You always get that one guy that's like, it's Rambo. I can do this. Let me just get my heavy machine gun with 100 bullets in the clip, and I'm just gonna spray everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that more than once. It always makes me laugh, but at the same time, I cringe because it's on my team.
Oh man.
Yeah,
like, can I team kill? Can I just team kill this guy?
Oh, that reminds me of another story. Modern Warfare 3. If we have time to go into it.
Oh yeah, we got time.
Okay. So there was this time where I was playing with a friend of mine on Modern Warfare 3. I don't have Black Ops 2. I didn't bother with Black Ops 2. But so I'm playing with a friend MW3, and he has us set the hardcore Ricochet game type, and it's team deathmatch. I'm like, okay, I don't play hardcore, but for the friend, I'll do hardcore team deathmatch. So we're in this match in Terminal, and I get into the aircraft. I get into it, I clear out the aircraft, I look out the window, and I have a sniper rifle. I'm aimed perfectly on the guy, and as soon as I fire, one of my teammates steps in front of the bullet's path, and because it's Ricochet hardcore team deathmatch, it says friendly fire will not be tolerated, and it kills me on the spot because it's a sniper shot.
Oh.
And I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? And my friend's like, what happened? I get this guy dead to rights on a sniper shot, and a teammate steps in front of the bullet's path, and it kills me instead. And I'm like, who steps in front of a sniper shot? What are the odds of stepping right clean in front of a sniper shot? I was mad the whole rest of the time I was playing that match. Because I'm just looking at this like, every time I passed him, I'm like, can I just kill you? Just once?
Friendly fire would not be
But yeah.
tolerated. Worth it.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, with Black Ops 2, a bunch of my friends that introduced me to Call of Duty, they got me on Call of Duty Modern Warfare, or Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. That was the first one we played, or the first one I played. And they keep trying to get me on Black Ops 2, and I'm like, I'll just wait for the inevitable all DLC on disc version. When that's like $40, I'll get it. Cause I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna get all the maps, and I don't feel like paying $10 every month for a new map pack. Just give it to me all at once, cause I know what's gonna happen. They can't call it Game of the Year edition because it never won Game of the Year.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I know. I don't think Call of Duty does like those, full-on releases with every map pack. Like the closest I've seen is them do a release with like the first 2 or first map pack in it, and then you still have to buy the rest.
Yep, good enough for me.
Yeah, but they've been doing season passes now. I've noticed. Like this one has a $50 season pass for all the DLC.
I think that's the kind of the current thing now. They have a DLC schedule set in place before, so they put these DLC passes now. Was it Gears of War that kind of started that? Because I remember Gears of War 3. That was probably one of the first ones that I remember that had one of these season passes for the upcoming DLC.
I can't remember if there's a game before that had season pass related sales structure. I like you said, Gears of War 3 had it. I know Uncharted 3 had season pass, and Uncharted 2 just had a big bundle for DLC.
Borderlands 2 has a season pass, and I think that's the only season pass
Yes.
that I actually got. Just because I was so hyped for the game. And the DLC from Borderlands 1 was amazing, so I was like, I'm getting the season pass. I don't care. This is the thing that I need to have happen.
Yeah, I get you. I've gotten season passes for Borderlands 2, Uncharted 3. I've gotten the season pass for Modern Warfare 3, so I have all the DLC. Season passes in the Elite subscription at the time, because if you paid for the Elite subscription, you got all the DLC with it. And the WWE games, WWE 12 and WWE 13, I got the Fan Access Pass, which was their equivalent of the season pass. You buy it, you paid for all the DLC up front, so when the DLC comes out, it's yours.
Right.
And it even came with their season passes come with a unlock all key code, so you can unlock everything from the start, and an attribute customizer for the wrestlers in the game. So you can actually customize their in-game attributes, which you can't do unless you actually either pay for that for like $1 or you get the season pass.
I mean,
their season passes.
Season passes are good. They've got their benefits and stuff, but it's always hard to predict whether or not you're still going to be playing this game that far down the line. Because so many times when you're playing some of these games and other things come out, they kind of take your time. You kind of push the other thing to the side, and you never end up getting around to playing or doing whatever with the the future DLC that comes out.
Yeah, that happened to me with actually Uncharted 3, now that you mention it. We got the season pass for it, and it's kind of like, I couldn't get myself into the multiplayer of Uncharted 3 as much as I could Uncharted 2 for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So when the season pass DLC started coming out, it was kind of like, we bought the season pass, but some of it started to not get used.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in reverse, the WWE 13 season pass Their next DLC is coming out in maybe, I'm guessing, next week or in a week or so, and that's their third DLC pack. And I'm still playing that game, and I'm waiting for the next DLC pack to come out so I could do some things with the guys that pack is coming with. So,
Okay.
yeah, like you said, it's some season passes turn out worth it, but some in the end, you know, you get yourself phased out of the game by the time the DLC comes out.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
I should kind of on the line of multiplayer or whatever, and Uncharted, Tomb Raider, that's supposed to have multiplayer. Or they've announced there being a multiplayer. Not something I want particularly, but it's one of my games that I'm actually looking forward to in this year. That and Ni no Kuni, which should be at the end of this month.
Yep, January 22nd. You were talking about it. I guess I have to get the demo because you enjoyed it. My brother enjoyed it. I was like, okay, I guess I'll get the demo, give it a try, see how it is.
I mean, if you like Japanese RPG styles, like action RPG styles, like maybe the Vesperia series and things like that. Sorry, the Tales of series. Just thinking of Tales of Vesperia. Like the Tales of series games and things like that. Then you should get on it. Plus, also it's in the beautiful art style of Studio Ghibli with excellent looking cutscenes and everything else. You know, and characters and environments and stuff. It's one of the one of my most anticipated games this year. What you guys mostly looking forward to?
Lawrence?
I was thinking you were gonna go first. Aside from the obvious with the Dynasty Warrior 7 Empires and Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage 2, two games that I'm actually looking forward to that come out this month, if I'm not mistaken, is next week Anarchy Reigns comes out.
Oh yes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's coming out. It's finally getting a North American release after that whole controversy between Platinum and Sega in regards. And and in Europe. It's finally hitting, the Western shores after the Japanese release, and it's coming at a budget price of $30. So, even if it might not be everyone's cup of tea, it's being released at budget price as it is.
Yeah.
So it could be, a good time waster, because the demo I played from the Japanese PSN was pretty good. It was actually a nice, fun third person kind of brawler / hack and slash type thing.
I was going to say a brawl fest.
Yeah, that's really what it was. Yeah. And it was pretty fun when you started to get the hang of it with the characters in it. And it has some pretty cool, unique character designs along with the characters from Mad World, also from Platinum Games, being thrown into the Anarchy Reigns storyline.
And I think got a Bayonetta, haven't you?
Right. I think she's a pre-order bonus from GameStop, Bayonetta. So you pre-order from GameStop and Bayonetta just comes on your disc. I don't know if
that's where it's different for you guys, because she's on our in Europe, I believe. She's on the disc. Whoever you buy it from, it's not a pre-order incentive. But in the US, it was treated differently for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but I will say you guys are very lucky on that one.
Sega hates you.
Apparently.
Sega wants you to shop at GameStop.
Hilarious.
I refuse. But let's see. Aside from that, there's of course, like you mentioned, Ni no Kuni, that I'm also looking forward to see how it does. And then there's the two third-person adventure / hack and slash games that everyone is keyed in on. And those are Metal Gear Rising, which is in, I believe, February, and the new DMC reboot / alternate universe that comes out in, I think, 2 weeks.
With added nudity, apparently.
Wait, what?
What?
There's been a lot of talk because if you look at their Twitter account, in the description, it's highlighted in the fact that it's got nudity in the game.
Oh
So
yeah,
people,
yeah.
but people have only just kind of been picking up on that, and I think because of some of the way that some of the advertising has been done for it. If you remember the one where he's sitting on the throne and there's the girl, one of the women just kind of right with her head kind of right where it probably shouldn't be for public advertising, but
Yeah.
that's now kind of a talking point.
Yeah, I've seen some of the promotional stuff for the DMC, and I've seen the much talked about and now the thing that's going to hurt this game is any leaks and any advertising for it, because I've seen the, you could say now, infamous sex scene in DMC.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't show anything, but the fact that it's there is a problem, because it's not even necessary in the context of the sequence.
Right.
From what I've seen and what I could gather from it, because it's a cutscene that's supposed to take place after you defeat the succubus, which is in the demo, and this cutscene just happens, and you just happen to catch it right in the middle of the act, and it's kind of like, did we need? Was this necessary? Is this their idea of the Shakespearean storytelling experience that they
Yes.
were going for? And I'm looking at this going, okay, I enjoyed the demo. I had fun with the demo. Demo was actually pretty, a pretty good experience for me. But this story is going to suck.
Ha!
And the dialogue is going to suck if the succubus's dialogue is anything to go by. And I am not even going to bother repeating what the succubus says during the boss fight, because it's not even fit for us to be saying it on the podcast, to be frank. It's horrendous. It's horrendously vulgar to the point of it's absurd and almost thrown in for the sake of being edgy. Like, okay, let's have this demon boss curse up a storm because, they're a demon and they're evil. It has that vibe to it.
Hey guys, you know what's evil? Swearing. And that's just terrible.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I mean, I'll admit, I'm one of the few people who don't have a problem with Dante getting into an FU contest with the succubus, because given the world that they're in, it's justifiable in that sense, because it's a darker, grittier world than the original DMC.
Yeah.
So I can kind of forgive Dante, getting into an FU contest with the succubus. And Dante's snark is still reminiscent of the old Dante, if the demo's any indication. I mean, the succubus makes a crack about being 12,000 years old, and Dante just goes, "You don't look a day above 1,200 years old," and Dante just makes a crack going, "You don't look a day above 12,000." That's Dante. That seems like a perfectly valid Dante line. I don't have any issue with Dante as it is now. My issue is going to be the rest of the game.
Anything else like that seems which may be thrown in along the line as you're playing away. You might have other random sex scenes just jump in.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just thrown in. I mean, the only lead up is you defeated the succubus, and then boom, you just get thrown into that. It makes no sense. It's not even necessary.
It's like a Bond movie.
Hilarious. James Bond, Devil May Cry.
But yeah, that's my one worry with the new DMC. And I just recently finished DMC 3 HD. If you've been seeing my Twitter and me talking about it, I finished playing DMC 3 HD just 2 days ago. And I don't mind this new DMC either. I mean, it's still a fun, enjoyable game demo from what I played of it. So, I'm more worried about, like I said, the story and the dialogue. And then, of course, you have Metal Gear Rising, which in and of itself is... It's an interesting departure from the typical Metal Gear. that you know of for it being all about stealth and you could say guns more so in MGS4.
Yeah.
And now focusing in on Raiden's story after Metal Gear Solid 4. And I was worried about it at first, but the fact that it's Platinum Games with Kojima's support, I look at it and go, okay, I can give this a chance. And whenever we get the demo coming out in, I think it's a week or two.
Right. Now,
Then,
from what I've tried of that game and seen of it, it looks fantastic. My issue is, and I'm hoping they kind of sort it out, is the camera.
yeah, I can kind of see that.
You have to switch yourself into the first person mode,
Mhm.
and as soon as you do that, your camera starts looking in all kinds of strange directions. so whenever I had to go into the first person, I don't know whether it's just me being completely cack-handed, but you know, I'll switch into the first person mode because you can only slash when you're in there, and then next thing. I'm looking up at the sky, and and the camera angles is just going all over the place.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that with the Metal Gear Rising and such. That the
Probably
camera
something you get
seems
used to.
Yeah, probably. And I think Anarchy Reigns has a similar camera style to Metal Gear Rising, from what I've played, and it did have its own little camera quirks here and there.
All right. As far as what
Um,
about to say, as far as what I was looking forward to this coming year, I think it's actually already been said. Metal Gear Rising was one I was looking forward to, just because I haven't really got into the Metal Gear series, so I think I'll start there before I download all the old Metal Gears. And
wait. Time out.
We've
You
had this
haven't.
discussion before.
I know, and you still haven't rectified this.
I'll make a deal with you. I will make a deal with you. If you start Walking Dead, I will start Metal Gear. That's my compromise.
We will see about this. We will see about this.
I would say, Justin, of any Metal Gear game to play, if you had to just pick one, I would say pick 3.
Absolutely.
All right.
Matter of fact, there's an HD collection.
Yeah.
There is an HD collection. That's what I'm saying. I can easily get the HD collection.
I would say you can start with 3.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to play the earlier ones.
All right, that works.
I would say that, but Metal Gear Solid 1 links a lot into Part 4.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
So
we should do 3, 1, 2, 4.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say so. Yes.
Yeah, that's chronological, yeah. Or if you want to get technical, if you get the HD collection,
Shoving
then
in the
go,
Peace Walker.
Yeah, go 3 Peace Walker, and then 1, 2, 4.
Yeah, because you're still playing as Big Boss.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
All right.
And there's also, for a game to look forward to, there's also the new Dead Island. Going back to the Dead Island discussion we were having before.
There is the new Dead Island. There's The Last of Us. I don't know if I'm actually gonna buy Last of Us. I just want to see how it does. I just want to. There's a lot of games I just want to see. Tomb Raider would be one of those games that I just want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God of War Ascension.
Yeah. Again, I never got into the God of War series, but I always enjoy seeing when they come out.
Come on, man.
No,
You're killing me.
I am dead serious. I played one. I was like, oh snap, this is really good. I just never bought 2 or 3.
Justin hates video games.
Clearly, I do.
They made a big collection box for God of War.
Yeah.
You have no excuse now.
See, here's the thing. A lot of these games came out when I was still a broke college kid. So it's like,
Yeah.
lunch?
I think
Yeah, I know it's.
even though you can get these in these little collections and stuff, it's still quite expensive to catch up.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
just financially, but in time as well. You know, the time it takes to get through all of this.
Yeah, that I could see. And there was a time where, you know, you could say my spending in terms of games was like one game barely a year. There was a time where it was actually getting kind of bad in terms of getting video games, so I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's definitely. I guess what I'm looking forward to this year is catching up on all the stuff that I've missed in the past couple years.
I'm hoping we get Dynasty Warriors 8 this year as well.
Oh man.
See, I'm actually hoping that we get it, but we get it later. Because Empires comes out in February.
Yeah.
Empires comes out
And 2 days later.
2 months. No, actually, yeah, in 2 months. Just
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, because 2 days after we get Empires, Japan gets 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm actually hoping we get it sometime later than we would normally get, like maybe a few months, so we have time to play Empires.
Now, when did
Because
when did they get Empires? That was in December, wasn't it?
No, they got Empires.
Oh,
In
no, it got delayed.
No, it got delayed, but
Yeah, I
they've
think
had
they got
Empires since
November.
I want to say end
Yeah.
of October, beginning of November. They've had it for a couple months now.
Right.
Yeah, they had it for a pretty decent length of time. I'm gonna check. They've had it since November 8th.
Okay.
Okay. So they've had November, December, and when did you say 8's out in Japan?
They get
It comes
8
out on, I think.
March 2nd. It's early in March when they get 8.
Right. Okay.
Again, we'll have to double check that.
Yeah, so about 4 months or so.
So yeah, we have a lot to look forward to this year. Not just personally playing, but gamers as a whole. We have a lot to look forward to. We've got a lot of side projects going on. We have the Dynasty Warriors 7 XL walkthroughs that we're doing. We have a lot of posts we need to get put back up on Tumblr. We were discussing before. And we have to start planning the next surprise for you guys if you keep paying attention.
Just to clarify, Justin,
Yo.
Dynasty Warriors 8 in Japan is February 28th. They get it 2 days after we get Empires.
Wow.
So we are actually going to be outdated as soon as Empires comes out.
You know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping that we get Dynasty Warriors 8 a little bit later, so we actually have time to play Empires, and that way it doesn't, cannibalize in terms of sales. Like they're already running that risk with Fist of the North Star in the same month, but it comes out 2 days after we get Empires, and people are going to be importing.
Right.
So that was it. I just wanted to clarify that.
So, all right, that man. All right, if that's what Tecmo wants to do, okay.
It's the only thing you can do. Just shrug and go, oh, all right.
All right, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, we've got a lot to look forward to this year. Hopefully, you guys will be along for the ride with us. I would be remiss if I didn't give a big thank you to Dark Masamune 87, who's been really helping us along with getting our YouTube channel set up straight. So shout outs to you. And really everyone that's just stuck with us this long, everyone that subscribes to us on our various platforms. Yeah, we wouldn't be here without you guys. So thanks. We hope to have something special for you guys coming up rather soon.
Right. It's been a fun 2012, and 2013 is bound to be full of more surprises along the way, and we have a lot of things to look forward to in regards to games, or maybe just seeing how certain games do, and see where the future of gaming this gen and into the future generations lie. So hope you join along with us along the way.
And hopefully you guys get to see a little bit more activity on our YouTube channels as well, because we haven't quite been utilizing it as much as we should, but I think you guys have got some things planned, so...
Yeah, actually, I have one errand to run, and then I'm recording the next video for our Dynasty Warriors 7 series, or Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends series. Once I get the first couple introduction videos out, then I'll start doing how to get certain Chaos and Nightmare weapons.
Cool. And I'll be recording a supplement video to this podcast, kind of going over briefly what we talked about here to kind of lead into the podcast, and then maybe talk about something else to clarify other things that were in the podcast and shed more light on them along the way.
And I'll be doing stuff.
And Ryan will be doing stuff.
I have ideas. I just need to implement them.
So check Ryan's Twitter for stuff.
I mean, you know, I try as good as I can to update things like the Facebook page and scout out the information when I can. I'll try and get a regular feature on the go as well. So yeah, that'll be something else.
Also, to clarify for the sake of the podcast, I'm looking forward to seeing how DMC does. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm purchasing the game. You know, this is the effort to save face right now. I'm looking forward to see how it does. I don't think I'm purchasing it. I'm just looking to see how it does and if it performs well. And so far, the reviews for it have been pretty good, shockingly. So I'm just seeing how it does and following it. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a disclaimer.
You know you're gonna be there. You're gonna look around, make sure no one's in the room, turn on the lights, be like, "I've missed you."
you know he's gonna be queuing outside GameStop.
There you go.
A week in advance.
Oh no way.
Enjoy it while you can. Sony's trying to put GameStop out of business. All right. It has been fun. It has been great. We will see you guys in 2 weeks when we record.